Welcome back to a Rough Cut Homestead. If you've managed to transfer funds out of China, then you have exactly the type of expertise we want to hear about, because we're crowdsourcing and sharing experience so that you can get on with it faster. If you're ready to undertake this but you're not quite sure how, then stick around, because what you'll find here is not a travel guide, but it could be your GPS. Let's go. As the debrief implies, I've accomplished this mission, so I'm able to share with you my personal experience. This involves a two-step process of first converting Chinese yuan into Canadian dollars, then performing the wire transfer. Shanghai has a fast path for foreign talent salary exchange and remittance service that allows registered expats currently working in Shanghai to exchange Chinese yuan into foreign currency without all the normal supporting documentation. My bank is in Jiangsu province, and unfortunately it does not offer a similar service. But if you've got experience with this particular program, then please let us know how things went in the comments below. Your advice could save someone a lot of time. Chinese citizens are allowed to transfer up to 50,000 US dollars out of China for personal reasons annually. However, there appears to be no limit on how much foreigners can transfer out of China, provided that they have all the appropriate documentation. As demonstrated in previous missions, having all the documents available and even some supplemental can help you complete this task as efficiently as possible. I will share with you the documents I needed in order to transfer funds via a China Merchants Bank in Jiangsu province in July of 2025. I've seen some online sources advise alternative documentation, so there may be time, location, and/or institutional differences. I recommend use the following list as a solid starting point. I was asked to provide all my passports, a sufficient quantity of tax-paid certificates to cover the amount of money I wanted to transfer out, my employment contracts covering the period of time of those tax-paid certificates, my work permit identification number card, payslips detailing my gross net salary and social benefit contributions, or a chopped summary from my employer in their absence, and my debit card. If you've set up an online tax account, then you can simply print off copies of your tax-paid certificates bearing identifying QR codes. Otherwise, you may go to your local tax bureau and they can print them off for you. Take all of your passports, as they may need to concatenate your records depending on how long you've worked in China. Even if you did not need the tax-paid summary for the wire transfer, I recommend obtaining a copy for your personal records, just in case Revenue Canada comes knocking. My employer has not provided physical pay stubs in years, so I needed them to prepare a summary of my salary and social benefit contributions bearing the company's seal. With all my documents in hand, I visited my branch. The process of converting my Chinese yuan into Canadian dollars went smoothly, but it did take almost 3 hours to complete. I met with a banking advisor and signed in using my debit card. I was told that this was a security precaution, proving that I was physically at the bank when processing this particular transaction. Full credit to my branch personnel on the level of English spoken, and credit in general to China on the level of English spoken throughout the country that allows a foreigner with less than intermediate Chinese to survive 23 years as a guest in your country. 谢谢你们，你们很厉害. I provided the teller my documents, provided electronic signatures, and entered my personal identification number at several points as required along the way. At one point, I was asked to complete an authorization form in Chinese. Now, I can barely write my own name in Chinese, so completing this was potentially a problem. Fortunately, they had a solution. If you find yourself in a similar situation, simply ask them to write it in pencil and you trace over it, then erase the pencil. That was clever. China Merchants Bank offers a service that allows clients to process foreign currency wire transfers direct from their phones. I signed up for this service back in October of 2024. For the actual wire transfer, you're going to need a lot of information. You're going to need the name, address, and identification of the sender, the name and address of the receiver, the bank number, the bank transit number, the bank SWIFT code, the bank routing number, the bank address, and of course, your account number. China Merchants Bank charges 100 RMB per wire transfer, which is currently about $19 Canadian, and advised that the receiving bank may also charge service fees. They informed me that it could take several days for the funds to show up in my Canadian account. The one glitch I encountered in the process happened during the wire transfer. The CMB app requires that I enter a 9-digit number consisting of a 4-digit bank number and a 5-digit transit number. However, the bank number that RBC provided me was only 3 digits. I spoke to RBC about adding a 0 out in front to comply with the CMB requirements, but they were unable to recommend using anything other than the 3-digit number they provided, which is fair. I could only proceed using a 4-digit bank number, so I had no choice but to try the 4-digit number with a nominal amount and hope for the best. I processed the transaction, and within 90 minutes, I received an SMS confirmation that the funds were received in my RBC account. Another point to note is that the app only allows you to transfer up to $50,000 Canadian each time. Once you've entered the details, you can simply select to use the same again, which is convenient, but there's still the matter of that 100 RMB fee charged for each wire transfer. In order to avoid that, you must go to any CMB branch if you want to make a larger wire transfer under a single transaction fee. Other than the inconvenience of physically going there, the process was very similar. I signed into their systems by simply swiping my bank card, entering the wire transfer details, then signed out. Although they once again suggested this may take several days to process, I received an SMS confirmation that the funds arrived in my RBC account within a matter of hours. Once your money arrives in Canada, you may be subject to capital gains and loss. If you've been living abroad for more than 5 years and you have held no major ties to Canada, and you're exchanging then transferring Canadian dollars into Canada, my research suggests that normally there's no capital gains loss implications on the transferred amount, although any interest that you earn on the deposit will still count as income. I'm very thankful that once again that decision that I made 23 years ago to sever all residential ties to Canada before coming to China benefits me here in this case as well. With that, it's time for me to go. Good luck to us all in what lies ahead, and you're always welcome back at a Rough Cut Homestead. Good night, Joe.